Now, as I'm coming out the international break, I'm having a look at the main Road to Glory strategy that we've been running here on the channel through the same lens that I've been doing all the content through over the international break, where we're taking a wee step back. We're having a look at the quality of the players we've got, the price we spent on them, what they've won, as well as looking at the season going forward. You know, do we have enough in us to, you know, smash those scores, to hit those hot streaks, to hit the money on the leaderboard, and everything else in between. But also, in the last couple of weeks, we have had the end of the transfer window, and at this point, it makes it even easier to go and reinforce the ranks coming out of an international break to make sure that we get back onto the hot streaks, we start actually clipping the cash that we're aiming for and start to get some returns from the team that we've built. In the video today, I'm going to show you some of the buys that I've made for my Premier League Road to Glory squad, down to some transfers and that sort of thing, to galvanise, reinforce, to double down on some of the things that I've already seen and felt with the squad that I've got, as well as go through a ones to watch list for you guys out there of players that, you know, some of them have got proof in the pudding already, but some of them have got those little green shoots of, you know, all they need is one or two things to change and all of a sudden this budget player could become one of these unexpected stars of the Premier League. I'll also show you the team build that we've got going into the weekend, as well as discuss the shiny competition that might be available for, depending on how many cards we unpack for maybe the Road to Glory series, as well as what I've got shaking in the La Liga Road to Glory, because the more limited essence we can win on these strategies, the more limited cards I can give away to you guys. Now, if you're brand new to Sorare and you've not opened up your account yet, there's a link in the description of the video that'll get you $150, pounds, euros, whatever your currency is, of market credit to go out there and reinforce your roster. The amount of credit you get is directly linked to purchases on site, so please read the terms and conditions. If you get stuck, if you've got any questions, jump into the comment section and I'll come and sort you out, because by clicking on that link, you directly support me and all the content here at the channel, and I'm forever grateful if you do so. And if you're after beginner tutorial content, you'll find the new to Sorare Start Here playlist in the description of the video. But yeah, otherwise, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, like and subscribe to the channel, get into the comment section and let me know who are your ones to watch for the next furlong, the next stage of the season that we're coming into. And yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it, because I want to tell you the two players that I've picked up. I've spent just under 20 quid to reinforce and to give the depth a bit more quality, and I'm now opening up the possibility of maybe needing a third goalkeeper. The first player I've picked up is Jadon Sancho. Now, Sancho is a player that, if you've, depending on how long you've been here on the channel, you'll know I'm a massive fan of. I thought this guy at Borussia Dortmund was unreal, and since then it's just kind of been downward, hasn't it? But he's just made a loan transfer to Aston Villa, and really, like, if Rashford can look good at Aston Villa, I don't see any reason that Sancho can't. He's the exact type of forward that I love to have in my gallery and in my teams. A guy that can get assists, that can get goals, that can make something special happen. But because of the way he plays, he takes people on the dribble, he wins free kicks, he wins duels, he gets contests won. On top of all that attacking output, as part of a really smart Aston Villa team, we might get the closest thing to Bundesliga Jadon Sancho in the Premier League, and at 12 quid I had to jump on this as soon as the news developed. I think he's actually got a little bit cheaper here and there, you know, compared to the price I got mine for, certainly. And, you know, the first game after the international window is Aston Villa Arsenal, so I'm not needing him for that game in particular. He might not start and whatever. It's not a good game, so I had to get him in. There's maybe a better time to buy him than when I bought him, but I just went right after it because I just knew straight away Aston Villa, Unai Emery, Jadon Sancho, that feels like a nice little trifecta there. And I also doubled into the Sunderland defence play. I went and picked up a Nordi Mukiele for like 6 quid, 7 quid, something like that. He made his debut. He was very impressive in it. This is a player that I'm very excited for to see in the Premier League. And again, I said to Sunderland fans when they signed him, this is a guy that will probably end up at Man City or something like that. He's a top end border. He's got the potential to be world class. It's probably the fairest way of putting it. And this might be a great platform for him to be a regular player and to show the level. He's got £6 we paid for him, and alongside Reinildo and Robin Roths, I've now got like a Sunderland defence stack that I'm really happy with. Jadon Sancho offers us another forward option on top of Ndoye, Wood and Marmoush. So really the last thing that the Road to Glory strategy needs is a midfielder. We've got Elliot Anderson, who's bra, Oscar Bob, who's fine, and then we've got Habib Diarra. And for two teams, that's like minimum, but we're on the verge of 3 teams maybe. If we win a player or two more, we pick up another defender and our goalkeeper in the mid. We've certainly got the forwards to carry off two teams is kind of where we're at, isn't it? But I'm quite happy with where the gallery's at. We've not got that many cards, it must be said, for the amount we've spent. And I'm always on the hunt for further reinforcements. And in doing so, I ended up making a little bit of a watch list for them, and I named it Ones to Watch, and I thought this would be a good little addition to the Road to Glory video this week. So in goals, there's only one goalkeeper I've kind of got my eye on, and it's an in-season Martin Dubravka. At just under £15, he is a real one to watch. Now, international duty has really spiked his L5, so he might look even more obvious than what he did in the league. But I genuinely think that I don't think Burnley are dead and buried. I don't think Burnley, they might get relegated, right? But I don't think it's a foregone. I think they've recruited well. I think they've got a good manager. And if Dubravka is going to show up and put in some decent performances, at £14 for an in-season goalkeeper, that could be pretty clutch. And I think he's certainly one to watch out for any budget players or for any one period, because even with these, a clean sheet against Germany, I thought that was Holland's for a second, and I was like, no, Holland definitely scored a lot of goals. Luxembourg, so less impressive. But even within the budget strategy, if you've not been in the international window, Sorare have been giving away market credits for the daily missions, and having an international goalkeeper that plays for a team that can get a clean sheet against the likes of Germany and Luxembourg's, you know, he is certainly a one-to-watch player, somebody that should be playing every week. He's an experienced Premier League goalkeeper, and, you know, the Burnley defence isn't fantastic, right? So he should face some shots, get some all-around. Not too sure how many clean sheets he'll get, but I just think £15 in season is very, very hard to ignore. Now, the little preview banner at the top maybe gives away one or two of the players, but when we come to defence, we've got 3 shouts here, 3 picks, and all of them, I would even put Lacroix into this, very nominally priced. Lacroix comes into it because if you look at the performances of Marc Guéhi, who has just been next level, getting Lacroix for around half the price, essentially, is certainly a huge value defender to watch out for. Lacroix, I don't know if you know this, right? I've seen it on social media, but he bought everyone in row 5 in Selhurst Park a pint or a drink or something like that. He put a token under, it might have been for the first home game of the season, or I forget what it was, but this guy is bought in, and this guy is doubled down. He is battening down the hatches. Obviously a huge performance against Villa. He did very well in the Conference League qualifiers. He'll probably do great in the Conference League, but a very good game against Chelsea. And if we were to add a star level centre back, I think a 20 quid Maxence Lacroix is a great shout. Kelechi Hartman is a player that we thought would be a one to watch coming into the season, but with 3 games gone, I think we've got enough proof in the pudding here that he can adapt. And what I think about Kelechi Hartman for this season is that he could be an Anthony Robinson type player, where he is so effective in the final third. He is like given so much license to go in and attack. He is a decent enough defender, and if they don't get stuffed 3-0, he can be a pretty handy operator. 66 points here in the 2-0 win against Sunderland from all around only. If he caught a decisive in this game, this would be a crazy candlestick score where he'd be running up to the 90s, maybe even to the 100 depending on what the action was. And then against Man United, again, a 3-2 loss, so no clean sheet, a few goal concessions, but look at the underlying AA that's in here. Not a guy we could play in Team 1 with a lot of confidence, but a great defender for Team 2 or Team 3, I think. And at £1.80 in season is very good value for money. Truffaut, as well as Hartman, was a player we had expectations for, we had hopes for coming into the season. He looked very good against Liverpool. They get beat 4-2, and considering the goals they conceded, you know, it's hard to imagine he does score well. But when you look at, again, the positive things that actually were contributed by him in this match, if they're not losing 4-2, he should be a player that scores well. And I think the games against Wolves and Tottenham thereafter kind of do put the proof in the pudding there, where against teams where they're not getting hammered, there is a clean sheet bonus available. He is a very good attacking fullback, doesn't lose possession that much, and kind of does a little bit of everything. And against Tottenham, away from home, where did he lose points here? Fouls, which is unfortunate. A lot of possession lost in this one, and didn't quite win the amount of duels he would have liked. Entered in at 22, only won 12. If that swung around a little bit more, that could have been quite powerful. And with only one tackle won, he is obviously as a defender, so you've always got to imagine it, but quite double capable. And again, similar to like the Anthony Robinson player of old, or even Truffaut from Liga, I don't think it's too far from the realms of possibility we could see him start to spike off. And again, it's £6 in season. Feels like a defender that's worth picking up. Definitely a one to watch for me. And then if we go into midfield, it might not be too much of a surprise, some of these characters, but I certainly think it is firmly Tielemans season. I felt this before the Liechtenstein game. He'd been given the captain's armband for Belgium, and for Aston Villa, with their last minute business, I think they look a lot better, and I think he is in the position to best benefit from it. We've seen what Tielemans can look like when he's on it, and I think Villa are in a good position to get a lot out of Tielemans. He's already got that kind of, not quite stairway to heaven, but there's an increase on the scores here from Newcastle, Brentford to Palace. And for a midfielder that gets this level of AA, 10 to 20 points, and is very decisive friendly at £25 for an in-season, I think that's pretty healthy. At half the price, but his now teammate, Harvey Elliott, I beg your pardon, almost said Harvey Elliott Anderson there, has serious potential to maybe be into those Jack Grealish levels of scoring power, where he is coming off the back of being at Liverpool for the last 5 or 6 years, Champions League, Premier League stuff, all that kind of high level. Like, this gives me vibes of, do you remember when Ozil first showed up at Arsenal from Real Madrid? He was still like a Real Madrid player playing for Arsenal, and he was next level, a bit of a one-man team at times. And then as time went on, that Real Madrid kind of aura just kind of fell away. He was still class, and obviously became a bit of a moody git and a real financial handicap. But if you remember that, same with Alexis Sanchez, when I don't know why I'm thinking of these examples, but there you go. When you've got these players that come from the 1%, the very finest top end of the game, and they make the step down to those really good teams that are right below the level they've came from, they can really make a big difference. We've seen it with Cole Palmer. He's another decent example of this as well. I think Harvey Elliott is maybe the midfielder I pick up, actually. Kieran Dewsbury-Hall is like the cheap man's Jack Grealish in the same team. A lot of similar profile, high energy. Against Leeds, he was very, very good. Covered more of the pitch than I think anyone else. And against Brighton, this penalty conceded really just hinders his score. He's still got 20 and all around. He should be on 52, 55, 84. That should be a really good start to the season for KDH. It's £17. Very, very good. Not quite spiking like Grealish does, but he's certainly got this. He's got that around about the 20 AA mark in him. And he only has one decisive, and that is a flyer of a score. And then the last one we've got here, I might be heavily influenced by Harry Trades, so sorry if I am, right? But David Brooks is playing every game for Bournemouth, is a guy that's been very exciting previously in his career and has had a lot to overcome. He got an assist against Liverpool, which is a kind of get out of jail situation. An okay amount of AA against Wolves, but seeing this AA against Tottenham makes me think that this guy is going to be effective this year. He's winning contests, he's getting balls into the box. He's not on the ball too much, but he's positive on the amount of duels he's winning. He's won 3 tackles as well, so he's caught a double-double, which if you can get an attack-based midfield player, only 64 minutes as well, an attack-based midfield player that is double-double capable and can still get this kind of 12 to 8 points in these front 2 columns here, that is a highly powerful player. How regularly over the season will he do that type of performance? It's hard to imagine it's week in, week out, but I also don't think it's going to be that few and far between either. Like, his AA profile, when he is playing and starting, it's not unimaginable he does this type of thing, so at £2 for an in-season card for Team 3, Team 4, feels like a great one to watch. And then we've got 2 strikers. Now, Iliman Ndiaye is a weird one, right? Because I couldn't put him in the unexpected stars video because I think everyone expected him to be like a good budget forward. But particularly with everything that we've covered on with Everton across all the content, just the budget stuff and whatever over the last couple of weeks, he's delivering, in a big way. And it's one of those ones where when I talk about him being like a one to watch in this video, he's had good scores. He's not a new name. We all expected him to do halfway not bad, but I think he's going to be on for better scores than we've ever seen from him. Quite honestly, I think he's got a better support cast than he's ever had. He's still playing. He's lifting his level. He's still delivering. 2 goals in 3 games. You just need to see a match where he gets double decisive, and he's, I think £17 in season forward is pretty wild. The only thing stopping me buying him is I've got too many forwards in the team right now. But I would also add in Yeremy Pino. Now, Yeremy Pino is a mid and a forward. If we just click into his cards to see in season where he's at the moment, it is a forward. Yeah, I knew it said on that page he was a mid. I could have swore I double checked this. He is a forward for this season. And as I mentioned to the Crystal Palace fans when they signed him, this is their Michael Olise replacement. This is a guy that is a winger, that's a wide player, likes to take some set pieces, likes to dribble. I know he's kind of replaced Eze in the sense of like the sold Eze bought Pino, but he's actually much more of the Michael Olise replacement. Now, he's come off the bench against Villa and got 10 AA in 19 minutes. I think that kind of tells you everything you need to know. This is a guy that when he does get into the first team, if he can keep up that 10 to 15 AA range, which I don't think is beyond the realm of possibility, and then sprinkle in the decisives that Crystal Palace are very friendly with, and he has shown in his La Liga career that he can be a part of. He's the same price as Ndiaye. I think he's maybe got a little bit more potential to really be a difference level scoring wise, but I think both of them are very undervalued in the market. Certainly ones to watch. And if we just look at the list as a whole, I think we've got 10 players here. We could build a team out of this. I think this is very good value players that are under the radar. And do you know what? Screw it. I'm buying it. Bringing it in. I've just got one of these feelings that I'm going to regret not having this later on perhaps. So now I need to rename. We spent £20 on Sancho and Mukiele, and we've just spent £12 there. So we're going to call this £60 depth. Now, there we go. Now, I'm not actually going to change the lineups for this weekend because, like I mentioned, Aston Villa are playing Everton away. Yes, I just don't want to put them in this Pickford team for obvious reasons, and you guys know me, I don't normally bother with that. But I genuinely don't want to break up this first team, and I would need to do that to make that work. So I'm not going to change the team for this weekend, but it's kind of highlighting what I feel like we're ready for team 3. If we got one more defender and goalkeeper in, we could have a third team out there, but I'm not quite ready to make that move. I want to get the streak going first, and that's an important thing to remember is the goal is to hit the streak target, which is 360 points, because we're not at any streaks at the moment. Do I need reinforcements? Do I need a third team to facilitate me doing the first couple of levels of the streak? No. So it's not something I need to do right now. Taking advantage of Mukiele, Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho on transfer news and being, in my opinion, underpriced by the market. And I'm doing this business before Sorare do all their promotions for this week on shiny cards and the wheel being back and everything else that they're going to do. So I'm trying to be the early bird that catches the worm here. And maybe I'm missing out on some stuff, fine. But that's a kind of a trade-off I'm willing to do. Now, when it comes to La Liga, we still only have one goalkeeper, but I very much have players to play about 2 or 3 teams now. I've went out and I bought a bunch of Sociedad cards. I couldn't help myself. I bought Atake Kubo, as you can see. I got Soler. I got Yangel Herrera. I couldn't stop myself. And this weekend, I'm just playing for the first level of the streak. None of the fixtures are that great. And maybe next week we have a wee bit more surgery to do with La Liga. Playing Real Madrid this week is, I'm not going to be, yeah, there's not too much to do, but well, let's just get this one out there. 6% bonus, Captain Take. We spent 20 quid on that, so I'm just going to rename this one as well. £80 Road to Glory. Sorted. Right, okay. So, set for the weekend. If we get cards out of this that are shiny, if we get enough out of all the limiteds, then we'll make an entry for that, and anything it wins we'll give away. If I end up getting like a couple of shinies across limited and rare, and I need to put them together to compile the team, then I'm probably just, wherever I win, I might just keep it for myself, right? But we'll see how well we do. We'll see how we go with that. On top of this, I'm now branching out my in-season Celtic cards to have limited entries as well. So stay tuned to the content. You'll see what's going on with that, as well as all the stuff I'll have for All-Star and everything else. So hopefully we can get back to winning some limited essence, some cash, some hot streaks with the Road to Glory Premier League and La Liga outfit we've got. But on top of that, I'll have lots of other stuff. So we should be crafting like mad this time next week and have a ton of giveaway stuff coming out of the international break. I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. I hope your squads and strategies, you've doubled down on some stuff, you've refined some, sold some players, brought some players in, whatever you've done, because once we get back into this little furlong here, you're going to want to have your ducks in a row. I hope you've managed to do that already. Hopefully the content on the channel has helped you somewhat. On screen and now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this as well. Get into the comment section and let me know who is your ones to watch for the season coming up. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one.